Today, I want to bring you about the banned book Enoch, a book that very few people know. What is that book and why is it banned? Join me in decoding it. Let's get started. There is a book in human history that holds answers to every question about the origin of the universe. Due to these answers, it was banned and lost for over 2,000 years. The Book of Enoch remains one of the most controversial texts in history. In fact, it makes works like the Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka or the Satanic Verses by Salman Rushdie seem like child's play. We first encounter Enoch in Genesis 5, where we are told that he was so righteous in God's eyes that he never died. Instead, he was taken up to heaven, bypassing death altogether. This single event raises many questions. Who was Enoch? And what made him so righteous that God spared him from death? He remains a mysterious figure, one whose story is not fully understood. Early Christian writers from the 2nd and 3rd centuries, such as Justin Martyr, Irenaeus, Origen, and Clement of Alexandria, referred to the Book of Enoch. The Epistle of Barnabas, written in the early 2nd century, also made extensive use of it. The ancient Roman philosopher Tertullian even referred to the Book of Enoch as Holy Scripture. For the first 3 centuries after Christ, the Book of Enoch was widely known and read, as popular in its time as the Harry Potter books are today. However, during the Council of Laodicea, it was declared controversial and deemed heretical. As a result, it was banned and lost credibility. This ban was so effective that the book was excluded from the Bible, and its use virtually disappeared. Over time, the Book of Enoch faded into obscurity, barely mentioned until the 1400s. Interest in it revived around the time of the Protestant Reformation, and rumors began to circulate that the long-lost book might still exist. However, many forged versions claiming to be the Book of Enoch were released to satisfy the public's hunger for truth. It wasn't until the Scottish explorer James Bruce discovered the original manuscript in Ethiopia that the book resurfaced. In the 1770s, Bruce found the Book of Enoch in the holy collection of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, which had preserved the text despite its exclusion from the Bible. The manuscript was written in Guizi, an ancient Semitic language still spoken in Ethiopia. It is believed to have been composed between the 3rd and 1st centuries BCE. The version James Bruce found consists of 5 sections, each offering a unique perspective on Enoch's life, his encounters with the Watchers, his journeys to heaven, and the apocalyptic visions he received. James Bruce returned with 3 copies of the Lost Book of Enoch. Originally written in Ethiopian, Richard Lawrence published the first English translation in 1821, followed by the renowned R.H. Charles version in 1912. Then, in 1947, more versions of the book were discovered in a cave famously known as Cave 4, leading to even more fascinating stories. The Book of Enoch might be the earliest written account by humans and could have been an inspiration for the Book of Genesis, as well as the entire Bible, both the Old and New Testaments. This highlights just how ancient the text is. Some Bible apostles are believed to have quoted from Enoch in their teachings. A famous direct quotation appears in the New Testament, in Jude 1 verses 14 to 15, where Jude quotes from Enoch 1:9, and Enoch also, the 7th from Adam, prophesied of these, saying, "Behold, the Lord cometh with 10,000 of his saints, to execute judgment upon all, and to convince all that are ungodly among them of all their ungodly deeds which they have ungodly committed, and of all their hard speeches which ungodly sinners have spoken against him." This suggests that Jude knew the Book of Enoch and regarded its prophecy highly enough to reference it. Another notable comparison can be made between Genesis 6 verse 1 and 1 Enoch 6:1. Genesis 6 verse 1 reads, "And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose." Similarly, 1 Enoch 6:1 states, "And it came to pass, when the children of men had increased, that in those days there were born unto them fair and beautiful daughters, and the angels, the sons of heaven, saw them and desired them, and they said to one another, "Come, let us choose for ourselves wives from the children of men, and let us beget for ourselves children." The parallelism between these passages shows a strong connection between the Book of Enoch and the biblical Genesis account. Some people believe the Book of Enoch unveils many secrets that have been kept hidden for centuries. The text delves into great detail about events briefly mentioned in Genesis 6, providing insights into hidden and sacred places on earth and in heaven. It includes descriptions of Sheol, the Jewish afterlife, the abyss, the holy mountains, the 10 heavens, the gates of heaven, and the homes of angels. The Book of Enoch is so profound that it is even thought to record humanity's first encounter with extraterrestrials. Yes, you read that right. The second Book of Enoch describes Enoch's encounter with beings that were clearly not human, known as the Watchers. These beings are said to have descended from the sky and interacted with humans. Enoch describes them as follows: "While I was alone in my house, 2 men of enormous stature came before me. Their faces shone like the sun, and their clothes and voices were beautiful." Researchers like Erich von Daniken, a Swiss author who has written extensively about extraterrestrial influences on early human culture, believe that these beings might have been extraterrestrial aliens. One intriguing aspect of Enoch's description involves the Watchers' mode of transportation. The Watchers are said to ride chariots of fire, with wheels spinning so fast that they appear to be on fire. The chariots emit a sound like thunder and move at incredible speeds. These details closely resemble modern-day accounts of UFO sightings. Objects that move rapidly, make thunder-like sounds, and are often described as fiery or glowing. Such descriptions lead many to speculate that the Book of Enoch may be one of the earliest records of alien encounters. Interestingly, these stories of flying chariots and otherworldly beings are not exclusive to Christians or religious believers, even though 60% of Christians are unaware that the Book of Enoch exists. The accounts of strange flying objects and encounters with non-human beings are quite trustworthy. In fact, similar descriptions can be found in Sumerian records, where ancient accounts of extraterrestrial beings align closely with Enoch's descriptions. The Sumerians were an ancient civilization that lived in Mesopotamia. They are often credited as the first people to develop a written language, and some believe they were also the first to study the stars. Sumerian mythology tells of gods, often referred to as alien beings, who came down from the sky and taught the Sumerians various subjects. This aligns with descriptions found in the Book of Enoch and might explain how massive structures built by ancient civilizations around the world were perfectly aligned with the stars. The Sumerians called these alien beings the Anunnaki. Enoch's descriptions and Sumerian texts alike portray these beings, or the Watchers, as entities from another world, huge, luminous creatures. The ancient Egyptian chronicle even suggests that Enoch helped build the Great Pyramids. This could mean that the knowledge shared by the Watchers with humanity, as described in the Book of Enoch, might have come from contact with a highly advanced alien civilization, just as the Sumerians believed. According to these accounts, the Watchers taught humanity many things, from weaponry and astrology to enchantments, the constellations, the signs of the earth, the Sunday and the course of the moon. Essentially, the Watchers played a key role in the advancement of human civilization. But what could possibly go wrong with that? Consider this: giving a Ferrari to a child. The child will likely wreck it and get hurt. In this analogy, humanity is the child. With the knowledge they gained, humans began to abuse it, leading to corruption, pride, and ultimately, destruction. While some people still believe that Enoch met extraterrestrials, most biblical scholars, and those who adhere strictly to the Bible, interpret the Watchers as angels. According to this view, the Watchers were heavenly beings tasked with watching over humans, which is why they were called the Watchers. They were not meant to interact with humanity. However, they disobeyed God. The Watchers did not just observe humans, they descended to earth, driven by their lust for human women. Led by their chief, Semyaza, they took earthly wives and fathered children. Known as the Nephilim, these offspring were a mix of angel and human, a monstrous hybrid, giants with immense physical power. The Nephilim caused havoc on Earth. They plundered and consumed everything in sight, and when food became scarce, they began attacking animals and, eventually, humans. Some believe this could be the source of the Greek mythology surrounding the Cyclops, the giant, one-eyed beings who were also known for their strength and aggression. According to the theogony of the Greek epic poet Hesiod, the Cyclopes were the children of Uranus, the sky god, and Gaia, the earth goddess. This story loosely mirrors the union between the Watchers, representing Uranus, and human women, representing Gaia. The Nephilim disrupted Earth's natural order, causing constant conflict, and the only way to restore balance was to hit the reset button. The Great Flood. The flood served as divine punishment for the Nephilim, who were seen as abominations that needed to be wiped out. Their very existence brought an influx of sin and depravity unlike anything the world had seen before. The flood was the only solution left. In fact, there is actual evidence of giant skeletons being found in various parts of the world, massive skulls and bones that are clearly not human, suggesting that a race of giants once existed on Earth. Now, you might say that these are just interesting stories, and you may be right, but what about the prophecies that came true? The Book of Enoch contains more than just descriptive encounters. It also includes prophecies that later unfolded. One section, known as the Book of Dream Visions, contains visions and prophecies that range from the inception of Israel as a nation to the revolt that occurred around 6342 BC. According to the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, this portion of the book was written even before the famous Genesis flood, the same flood that is recorded in many cultures across the world. The prophecy predicted events long before they occurred, including the deluge itself. Enoch is said to have foretold the coming flood. As described in the text, "Go to Noah and tell him in my name, hide thyself, and reveal to him the end that is approaching, that the whole earth will be destroyed, and a deluge is about to come upon the whole earth to destroy all that is on it. Instruct him so that he and his seed may be preserved for all generations of the world." The term deluge refers to a severe or massive flood, the same flood many believe to have occurred during the Younger Dryas period, around 14,000 years ago, when Earth was submerged in water. Enoch had visions of the flood and took action to protect his great-grandson Noah and his descendants. The Book of Enoch presents an interpretation of these events that has withstood the test of time, despite its solid historical context, prominent quotes from respected figures throughout history, and its widespread use before being banned. The Book of Enoch remains enshrouded in mystery and controversy. One of the key controversies is why the book was banned and removed from the Bible in the first place. The Book of Enoch was once a widely read text in ancient times, and its removal raises the question, what was so controversial about it? The book clearly had significant influence and was considered important by many, yet it was excluded from the canon. This mystery continues to intrigue scholars and believers alike. So, why did the higher-ups reject the Book of Enoch? Even though today only the Ethiopian and Eritrean Orthodox churches recognize it as a holy text, there are two main reasons for this. The first is that most of the writings in the Book of Enoch were not actually written by Enoch himself. Yes, you heard that right, the Book of Enoch wasn't written by the patriarch Enoch. Instead, it is believed to have been written over several centuries by different authors, with the most recent sections possibly dating back to around 300 BCE. So, everything I've shared so far in this video might just be an elaborate bedtime story. This could be some of the best ghostwriting in history. The writings in question are classified as Pseudepigrapha, a term for ancient texts that claim to be written by a biblical figure but are actually the work of later authors. This type of writing was quite common in the ancient world, especially between 200 BCE and 200 CE, the period when most of the Book of Enoch was written. This means the text was composed around 3.000 to 4.000 years after Enoch's time. No serious scholar believes that the actual biblical Enoch wrote the book. so about 70% of the content could very well be fictional, similar to how The Lord of the Rings is a work of fiction. The second reason for the rejection of the Book of Enoch is that it contains numerous inconsistencies, which detracted from its authenticity. Say what you will about the Bible, but it's a remarkably cohesive text. From Genesis to Revelation, every word is carefully interconnected, like hyperlinks between verses. The Book of Enoch, on the other hand, lacks this level of consistency. For example, in the Bible, the primary antagonist is Satan, also called Lucifer or the devil, a singular being who is responsible for evil and sin. However, in the Book of Enoch, God blames a demon named Azazel for much of the world's corruption, which directly contradicts the Bible's portrayal of Satan as the root of all sin and evil. In Enoch 13:5-6, the fallen angels even appear to repent for their sins. But according to the Bible, Satan and his angels will be cast into hell, where they will be tormented forever. These differences raised doubts among scholars, especially when paired with the fact that the Book of Enoch was written by multiple authors. This made it difficult to determine the true intention behind the text. That being said, the Book of Enoch is invaluable for understanding ancient history. When you read the Book of Enoch alongside other ancient manuscripts, you begin to notice striking similarities in their mythologies. It raises the question, could these stories be more than just myths? Perhaps they are accounts of actual events, told through different cultural lenses. There are notable connections between Enoch's story and Greek mythology, particularly the belief that the Greek gods, the Egyptian gods, and deities from various cultures were actually fallen angels. We all know the myth of Zeus and his infamous lust for women. This echoes similar themes in the Book of Enoch, suggesting a shared origin for these stories. However, the downside of the Book of Enoch is that, because it was written by different people over time, it is open to various interpretations and theories, some of which can be misleading. It's essential to approach this text with a discerning mind, whether the Book of Enoch is a work of fiction or not. One thing is certain, it is an important book. Anyone interested in understanding more about our universe should read it, as it offers insights into ancient beliefs that reveal how connected we are as a species, whether the stories are true or not.